7 years in Tibet. This is not for the motion picture, which is good, very good on quite a few levels, but for the Chinese Communist Party and their monstrous occupation of Tibet, which is exposed in this movie and in documents, movies, taking artistic license, taking the truth and imagining some aspects, but we know the history and we see it in the making. They have been over the past few weeks sending record numbers of military planes towards Taiwan. The dictator Xi said that the reunification has to be made. Can never do something like that. What he sees as uniting would be an invasion and occupation for the people of Taiwan, who enjoy democracy, freedom, and they don't want to be part of communist China. But then that's the story of the present and near future, alas. The film is about some decades ago when, among other things, it's about this. The Chinese occupied Tibet. Let's try and detach ourselves. An anecdote might be remembered here with the Dalai Lama. Supposedly he entered a supermarket, hypermarket, something big, huge. Yeah. He looked up for the first time. He looked around and he said, "Wow, so many things I don't need." Because of course Nirvana is the end of cravings, our desire for things, consumerism, so much desire for things is the source of unhappiness, according to Buddhists, and we can also say common sense. We see what consumerism has brought us. Climate change, and potentially, let's hope not, irreversible change to the planet. Brad Pitt is excellent as Henry Harrow, an Austrian mountain climber with a strange accent. I thought that was a bit outre, but then why not believe that it makes sense? David Thewlis, that's wondrous actor, present in so many good movies. Starting, I would say, with Naked. He's Peter. They become friends with the Dalai Lama, and they are witnesses to the downfall. I was thinking that's coming in the last part of the movie, and consequently this would be a spoiler. So spoiler alert, but then we know what happened. If you don't know what happened, then you shouldn't be watching this. This is not the information needed for this. One would have to look at, not documents, you can find that on YouTube, but more than a few minutes of pirate show to get instructed, to get some knowledge. Um, so that's maybe not needed as part of that. But, there's some frightening, unpleasant scenes when the Chinese come, is in the general, such a contemptible, such a disgusting, holding the people of Tibet in contempt, showing this Chinese communists. Mind you, I make a distinction between communist Chinese and the rest. Alas, from what we gather in reactions on the internet, nationalism, and they seem to like in big, huge numbers. We're talking tens of millions, hundreds of millions go for manifestations of power. They see of military threats towards Taiwan, and pretty soon anybody who does challenge their supremacy, wisdom and system, which is so goddamn perfect. Only we tried it here, we know what it results. It's true they're doing something else, a mixture of capitalism, because they use some sort of market economy controlled by the state. So again, let's not get into that. Towards the end, as this general becomes such a ghastly figure. So the Tibetans have, as we know, that special religion, which is admirable to this view on so many levels. Peaceful, they didn't have an inquisition, and they don't talk about jihad, killing of the infidels. So they're welcoming the guests, and they have these figures, holy figures on the ground, and the Chinese sees that there, that he just walks through them to show the disregard, to show that he's representing the big China. Fuck you, communist idiot. And the Dalai Lama as a boy is at a higher level because he's the leader, spiritual leader of his people. I will not sit lower than he is. So the Dalai Lama, with grace and hospitality, I'll come down. But then eventually the Chinese would just using sort of a traitor. It's quite a figure in that. Will just crush the opposition. The Tibetans have no weapons, have nothing to fight with massive Chinese army, which has can get some tens of millions of people rolling over anything. Alas. So a sad story on so many levels. Dalai Lama had to be in exile again. That's, I would say, no spoiler here, but it's just history. And the Chinese see him as an enemy. They retaliate when leaders of countries in the world welcome, Dalai Lama, the Chinese retaliate. But then fucking communists again. Well, anyway, what LinkedIn stopped operating in China and was one of the few, or the only Western internet giant to operate there, because they don't, I guess YouTube is not even there, so I will have 1 million lunatics blocking access to our white audience. fucking communist Chinese who do mischief or anything. Australia asked for the inquest to see the origins of COVID, which are not clear. Especially since they haven't allowed access to it. And so they blocked imports, wine, whatever they. And Hong Kong, then what they do in the South China Sea, pushing others, Philippines. That's a bright future for us there.